Look, I think it's a big moment. Obviously, the second time that President Trump has been impeached in his time in office. Only four impeachments in the history of the country, and two in this presidency alone. Your point's a good one. This has been the most bipartisan impeachment ever, with 10 Republicans crossing party lines to vote for the impeachment of Donald Trump. And now this Senate trial that's going to happen, as you guys were just talking about, it takes 67 votes. That's 17 Republicans that have to come across the aisle. Mitch McConnell saying, "Look, I'm pleased that this has happened. Now, whether he votes for impeachment or not will send a big sign to other Republicans. At the same time, if he lets them vote their conscience, it's going to be a very close vote in the Senate, because 17 Republicans, again, is quite a few, even in the Senate, which tends to be more moderate than the House."
President Trump has given some commentary after the deadly Capitol riots. I'm curious, from where he sits now, how much impact he actually has on the Republicans in Congress. How much sway is he having?
Well, obviously he has enough sway to continue to maintain a significant number of the Republicans, with only 10 breaking ranks after the events of the 6th. That being said, I think he has less and less sway every day because he's not in office. Now, he also does have a tremendous amount of money in his campaign accounts that he raised not just over the last few weeks, but over the last 4 years. And that money is available to him if he wants to get involved in other races, primary challenges of Republicans. So he poses a still significant, part of the Republican Party. And I think that's part of why Mitch McConnell is thinking, look, is this the time to remove Donald Trump from the Republican Party if we bar him from holding office? He still has a lot of money, still can be very influential either way.
The president actually issued a statement yesterday calling for a stop to all violence. He says that this doesn't represent who his supporters are. How likely is that to influence people, especially heading into the inauguration next week when security is on very high alert?
Look, I mean, obviously the president has made the statement. He made the same statement or a similar statement later on, a few hours into the riots on Wednesday. I think his followers have been following more of what he's been messaging rather than the actual words he's been using. I think they feel like, and he's put the message out there, that he's been under pressure to say these things, and he doesn't necessarily really believe them. So I'm not sure it'll modify how his supporters behave. That being said, there's a huge effort to protect the inauguration on January 20th. There are 6,200 members of the National Guard who have been mobilized. We saw pictures yesterday of members of the National Guard camped out all over the Capitol. So I think the Secret Service, which is going to be running this event on the 20th, will be very focused on protecting the event, protecting the vice president, the president-elect, and his team. And at the same time, that these protesters, these rioters, may very well get in their heads, whether on the 20th or before that, that they want to take some action. And we'll see what happens. I think that the punishment you're seeing already, the arrest of a number of people, will also weigh heavily on their minds, as they know you can't really get away with it. You might get away with it for a short period, but the government's going to come after you and put you in jail.
Well, I was reading a statistic this morning saying that there are more troops deployed in Washington than there are in Afghanistan right now. So that's really quite something. Do you think that there is a possibility of there to be continued civil unrest even after the inauguration?
Well, we are a very divided country at this time, and I think there's a lot of concerns. I mean, obviously, you saw how divided the vote was during the election. We saw what happened. I think everybody was shocked by the events of January 6th. I don't think anybody expected what happened necessarily to go as far as it did. And so it's hard to really know. Obviously, there's a lot of passion, a lot of anger. I also think people are so shocked by what happened that hopefully cooler heads will prevail and this type of anarchy will not be permitted to continue. I think certainly law enforcement and the military are clued in to the potential for this kind of thing and are prepared to step in and stop it as quickly as possible.